you're running out of time. Not because the clock is ticking, but because you're still pretending that it isn't. You wake up in a world built by those who stopped waiting, who stopped wishing, who stopped asking for permission. And yet, here you are, waiting for signs, for motivation, for someone to tell you you're ready. You're not ready. You never will be. You just decide. Or you don't. Everything changes the moment you understand this. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards clarity. It rewards courage. It rewards those who stop being spectators of their own lives. You don't need more information. You need ignition. You need fire. Not more books on your shelf. Not more quotes in your feed. You need a violent rejection of the passive mind that says, tomorrow. You need to destroy the lie that your dream will survive your indecision. It won't. There is no force stronger than a human being who refuses to live in contradiction. When your beliefs and your behavior finally align, the universe doesn't just notice, it adjusts. Reality bends, not because of magic, but because of momentum, the kind that only starts when you stop. Stop pleasing, stop doubting, stop explaining yourself to people who aren't even chasing anything. Your mind was built for precision, not noise, not drama, not comparison, precision. A focused mind is the most dangerous weapon in the world. That's why you're being distracted. That's why you're fed comfort disguised as contentment, convenience disguised as control, but deep down you know that stillness without purpose is decay. You weren't made for comfort. You were made to solve, to build, to stretch, to collide with the unknown and come back transformed. There is nothing more lethal to mediocrity than a mind obsessed with clarity. When you truly see what you want, not vaguely, not someday, but specifically, undeniably, unshakably, you begin to act in a different frequency. Your standards shift. Your tolerance for delay collapses. You stop entertaining what doesn't serve. You stop trying to look busy and start becoming undeniable. This is the discipline of thought, not rigid repetition, but ruthless refinement. Asking better questions, cutting deeper into truth, thinking not to sound smart, but to become sharp. Intelligence is not about knowing everything. It's about seeing through everything. You don't need a map if you build the compass, and the compass is your mind. You've been taught to fit in, to follow, to wait your turn, to do what's been done. But understand this, nothing great was ever born in obedience to average. The very laws of the universe respond to original thought, and your mind, when clean of fear, becomes a frequency that invents futures. That's what belief really is. Not hope, not hype, but the decision to align thought with action until reality has no choice but to yield. When your mind is clear, belief becomes inevitable. You don't try to believe, you just know. Not because it's easy, but because doubt has no room to survive in a mind full of movement. Belief is motion. Belief is focus. Belief is the absence of contradiction between what you think and what you do. Every single day, you are creating a future. Not through what you imagine, but through what you tolerate, through what you repeat, through what you allow. Every thought you entertain either sharpens your purpose or dulls it. You need to get violent with your attention, because the world is trying to sedate you, to soften you, to make you forget that you are the architect, that you are the source, not your parents, not your past, not your phone. Nothing will ever feel right until your vision becomes your filter, until your values become your armor, until your mind becomes a weapon, not against others, but against comfort, against mediocrity, against the slow poison of settling for what you never asked for. Purpose isn't a mood, it's a demand. It's the refusal to live a life that doesn't match your architecture. Your body, your time, your mind, they're all responding to what you believe is necessary. Not what's ideal, not what's nice, but what's non-negotiable. You want change? Make it necessary. You want power? Stop negotiating with your potential. No more deals with distraction. No more agreements with weakness. Let your vision become so precise that your excuses feel embarrassed to show up. Let your daily actions speak with such authority that doubt doesn't even knock anymore. This is the new physics. Clarity creates gravity. Purpose generates momentum. Identity dictates reality. And once you decide who you are, the world begins to respond accordingly. Not instantly, not gently, but absolutely. You're not confused. You're distracted. You know exactly what you want, but the noise has numbed your instinct. So you scroll, you wait, you hesitate, not because you lack the answer, but because you forgot how to hear your own voice in a world that's screaming for your attention. Silence is a superpower, the kind that modern life tries to steal from you, because silence reveals. It shows you who you've become. It shows you how far you are from the person you promised yourself you'd be. Most people run from that silence. They fill it with noise, with opinions, with dopamine, but not you, not anymore. You're done living on autopilot. You're done chasing validation from people who've never built anything. You're done negotiating with comfort like it ever did anything, but waste your time. You're waking up. And now that you're awake, you can't go back. Because once you realize that the mind is programmable and that you've been programmed by the world, you either keep living by accident or you start thinking by design. Every belief, every identity, every habit, none of them are you. They're just patterns you've repeated long enough to confuse with truth. So here's the truth. The mind is plastic, moldable, trainable, and if you don't train it, someone else will. Your thoughts aren't sacred. They're instructions. They're blueprints. And if they're not building you, they're breaking you. It's not enough to think positively. That's decoration. You need to think precisely, because clarity is power, and ambiguity is the death of purpose. You will never create a powerful life from a vague mind. You will never create change with foggy intent. If your vision isn't specific, your habits won't stick. If your why isn't sharp, your pain won't transform you, it'll just drain you. You don't need motivation. You need structure. You need decisions that don't care how you feel. You need discipline that outlives your moods. You need commitment that doesn't flinch when life gets loud. Discipline is not a punishment. It's a declaration. It says, I don't chase feelings. I choose alignment. Because alignment is how you win. It's how you multiply time. It's how you collapse distance between you and your future. Not by force, not by hustle, but by moving in rhythm with what you truly want, not what looks good, not what's trending, not what makes people clap. If it doesn't serve your vision, it's a distraction. If it doesn't feed your growth, it's an anchor. If it doesn't align with your standards, it's an insult to your purpose. And if you're serious about this life, you stop tolerating anything that insults your purpose. You're not here to impress. You're here to express. And that expression requires brutal honesty. You can't fake precision. You can't fake vision. You either build it or you drift. You either decide or you decay. And once you decide, everything shifts. Time bends. Energy moves. People notice. And the ones who don't, you outgrow them. That's not cruelty. That's evolution. Because growth demands sacrifice. It demands you release the versions of yourself that were built to survive so you can build the one that was meant to lead. This is the inner war, the battle between the voice that says, be safe, and the one that says, be true. And every time you choose truth over safety, you rise. You want to rise? Kill the version of you that seeks permission. Stop asking for approval from a world that doesn't understand the future you're building. Your vision is not up for a vote. Your destiny doesn't need consensus. It needs conviction. And conviction comes from decision, the kind you make when the excuses are loud, the fear is real, and the way forward is blurry, but you move anyway. That's the difference between potential and power. Potential waits, power moves, potential imagines, power creates, and you're done living in potential. You're done with maybes. You're done with almost. This is the season where you choose power. And power is born in discipline, in doing what's required long after the mood has left, in building a life so precise that your future becomes a consequence, not a surprise. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you prove you're ready for. And you prove it by who you are when no one is watching, by what you choose when no one claps, by what you repeat when no one cares. The game is invisible long before it becomes visible. You win in the dark, you win in the silence, you win by aligning your internal world so ruthlessly that the external world starts to mirror it. That's not magic, that's physics. That's the law of identity. You don't get what you dream, you get what you believe is yours, and belief isn't built through hope, it's built through proof. You show your mind what's possible by doing the hard thing over and over until it becomes natural. Natural doesn't mean easy. It means inevitable. It means you no longer ask if it's working. You just know because you've become the kind of person who finishes, who executes, who refuses to stop until the standard is met, who sees discipline not as a chore, but as a ceremony. Because every time you show up, every time you push, when it's easier to rest, you are declaring to the universe, I am not to be ignored. I am not here to blend in. I am not here to be liked. I am here to take up space, to build, to stretch, to finish what I started. And I don't need a guarantee. I am the guarantee. Most people never fail. They just quit before the pain becomes power. They touch discomfort and run. They taste resistance and retreat. But you don't run. You refine. You get sharper. You get calmer. Because pain isn't your enemy. It's your invitation. You want freedom? Then you better learn to suffer with precision. You better learn to feel everything and still not flinch. The world will test you. Life will punch you in the mouth. And every time it does, you either break or you bounce. That's resilience. Not pretending to be fine. Not forcing fake smiles. But rising honestly, violently, intentionally, when you have every reason not to. Resilience doesn't mean you don't fall. It means you don't stay small. You don't stay silent. You don't stay hidden. You rise not because you feel ready, but because rising is what you do now. It's who you are now. You stop reacting. You start responding. And that shift, that's evolution. Your future isn't waiting on a miracle. It's waiting on your maturity. Can you lead yourself when no one shows up? Can you adjust when the plan falls apart? Can you stand when everything you trusted starts shaking? Flexibility isn't weakness. It's power. It means you bend, but you don't break. You reroute, but you don't retreat. You lose a battle, but never your hunger. Rigidity is fragile. Ego is loud. But strength is quiet. Strength flows. Strength knows when to pull back and when to push harder. Strength doesn't scream for attention. It builds quietly until its presence can't be ignored. You want to be strong? Then stop tying your identity to outcomes. Stop thinking failure says something about you. It doesn't. It says you tried. It says you're in the arena. It says you're still moving. Failure is just feedback from reality. Use it. Adjust. Refocus. Strike again. Sharper, smarter, cleaner. Because mastery isn't built in straight lines. It's born in chaos, in repetition, in the relentless commitment to improve even when improvement feels invisible. And as you rise, remember this. Gratitude is not softness. Gratitude is fuel. You don't give thanks to stay passive. You give thanks to stay powerful. You don't practice gratitude because life is perfect. You practice it because your vision is too important to be poisoned by entitlement. Gratitude anchors you. It reminds you that even now, even in the storm, you are still becoming. You are still breathing, still building, still bending the laws of probability with your discipline. So you give thanks for the struggle, for the strength, for the chance to keep swinging. That's the mindset. Relentless, resourceful, refined. You stop saying, I can't. You start asking, how? You stop saying, why me? And start declaring, watch me. You don't need the world to understand your process. You don't need applause for every effort. You need to know that you are aligned, that your daily behavior is in harmony with your deepest values. That is power. That is peace. Not the kind that comes from everything going right, but the kind that comes from becoming the person who moves right regardless. You want to be dangerous? Build integrity. Build consistency. Build systems so tight that emotion has no place to sabotage them. Because feelings lie, but standards don't. Discipline doesn't lie. Movement doesn't lie. Every day, every action, every repetition, you are either proving your commitment or proving your excuses. There is no neutral. Your habits are ballots. Your thoughts are blueprints. Your environment is your mirror. Your life is proof of what you prioritize. You're not stuck. You're just committed to patterns that no longer serve you. And the moment you stop negotiating with those patterns, everything changes. You change your inputs. You change your outcomes. You change your questions. You change your future. Ask better. Act faster. Think cleaner. There is no savior coming. There is no shortcut. There is no version of you that gets to the finish line without the bruises to prove you earned it. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being aligned. It's about living in a way that says, I don't need permission to move forward. You move because that's what growth demands. You act because silence kills vision. You speak because truth is the only thing powerful enough to create a future worth living. The truth is this. You will never feel like it. Not consistently, not automatically. So stop waiting. Stop waiting to feel ready, to feel confident, to feel safe. Confidence doesn't come from permission. It comes from proof, from showing up messy, from starting anyway, from choosing to trust yourself even when the path is unclear. You want vision? Build trust with yourself. You want clarity? Clean your inner world. Remove the mental clutter, the guilt, the shame, the stale stories of who you used to be. You're not that anymore. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not your mistakes. You are only what you choose to believe and prove every day. And if you want to change your life, don't change everything. Change direction. Change intensity. Change consistency. You don't need a better plan. You need to execute the one you already have. Do the thing you keep postponing. Say no to what drains you. Say yes to what stretches you. Simplify, strip, burn the noise, build the signal. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You owe your future execution. Because the future isn't found. It's forged, hammered, pushed into existence by those who refuse to die with their potential still in them. And if you listen closely, you'll hear it, the future calling you. Not politely, not softly, but loudly, violently, relentlessly, because it knows you were not made to be almost. You were made to be undeniable. This life is not waiting for you. It never has. It never will. The doors don't open for the polite. They open for the persistent, for the obsessed, for the ones who stopped needing an invitation. You want the future? Then fight for it. Not with rage, not with noise, but with the kind of discipline that silences doubt, with the kind of focus that breaks time, with the kind of presence that rewrites who you are permanently. Because that's what this really is, a war for identity. The battle between who you were told you are and who you're becoming. And every day, every thought, every choice is a vote for weakness or strength, a vote for fear or fire, a vote for the future you want or the past you settled for. No one is coming to save you from your hesitation. No one is coming to build your vision for you. No one is coming to hold your hand through the hard. And that is not a curse. It's the greatest gift you'll ever receive. Because once you understand that everything you want is already inside you, the strength, the focus, the genius, the drive, the game changes forever. You don't chase anymore. You align. You don't beg anymore. You build. You don't wait anymore. You wage war on mediocrity. Every single day. In silence, in sweat, in small choices that compound into thunder. And when people don't get it, you keep building. When the world doubts you, you keep moving. When your own mind whispers old fears in your ear, you get louder. Because your vision is not up for debate. Your life is not up for auction. Your energy is not for rent. You were built for more. You know it. You feel it. That burning restlessness in your chest isn't anxiety. It's your potential begging to be seen. It's your future self screaming through the noise. Move. Move, even when you're scared. Move, even when it's messy. Move, even when no one understands, especially when no one understands. That's how you separate. That's how you evolve. Not with speed, but with stillness inside the speed. Not with noise, but with clarity inside the chaos. The world is spinning. Let it spin. Your vision doesn't. You are still. You are sharp. You are ready. And when things break, you don't fall apart. You upgrade. Pain becomes precision. Loss becomes leverage. Setbacks become signals. And every failure becomes part of the formula. You stop seeing obstacles. You start seeing equations. Solve it. Adjust it. Rebuild it. Move again. Because that's the code of a creator, of a force, of someone who's finally done living as a version that fits in and ready to become a version that takes up space. You are not here to be convenient. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to make people comfortable. You are here to remind the world what it looks like when a human being becomes aligned mentally, physically, spiritually, structurally, and moves like it's already done. Because it is done. In your mind, in your habits, in your vision, the future is already built. Reality just hasn't caught up yet. But it will. It has no choice. The laws of physics bow to alignment. The laws of energy obey clarity. The universe responds to certainty the way fire responds to oxygen. It expands. You're not faking it anymore. You're becoming it. Every time you say no to what doesn't serve. Every time you push when it's easier to pause. Every time you show up without applause. You are becoming it. That version of you, the clear, calm, deadly, focused one, it's not a fantasy. It's not some someday self. It's one choice away, one decision. 1 hour of ruthless execution repeated until it becomes the new normal. There's no ceremony, no milestone, just a quiet, violent, sacred act of becoming. That's what this is. That's what now is. A sacred fork in the road where you stop being the version that hopes and you become the version that hunts. And you don't need permission to begin. You already have it. You don't need motivation to move. You already are it. The world is not changed by talkers, it's changed by walkers, builders, doers. The ones who move like time is running out because it is. Not in fear, in fire. And now it's your turn. Your turn to burn, to break the cycle, to stop asking and start creating, to stop drifting and start driving, to stop sleeping on the future that's already calling you by name. This isn't a game. This isn't rehearsal. This is your moment. This is your hour. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Not when it's perfect. Now. Because the future you want won't wait forever. And neither will you.